Hello there. I know it has been quite a bit since you have seen this face, and it looks completely different to the last time you saw said face. But to explain why it's been a good while, which would explain a whole lot of other things, I feel like I need to explain to you the basics about myself. So for those that don't know or may already know, some people call me by Louis, some people call me by my real name, Louis. And some people call me through various other aliases, like the one I have for my photography business, or through my previous usernames, identities, or whatever you want to call it. But that is stuff now that I want to leave it dead and buried. Mainly because it belongs to a past where I was much younger and much dumber, and also had moments full of just drama, trauma, and a whole load of other things. And now to explain the reason why I distance myself from those previous names, which will explain my absence in some way, and also will explain why, for those that have been around the channel for a while, why a lot of the older content got bolted and why they became stuff that I contemplated deleting, which I still do nowadays. I need to get into something that will be a very touchy subject, and that is mental health. For those that have stuck around for a while, or for those that may have gone out and scrolled through my channel and have seen my previous stuff, you see that I'm always putting, a cheery voice and a smile if you have seen my face or any videos with my face in it. I can definitely tell you that a lot of the moments where you saw me happy or sound cheery, they were not very genuine. Throughout my life, I have dealt with a lot of mental health issues, stuff that I really don't want to get too deep about, but a lot of it stems from a couple of things. Stuff that has even happened within the past few years, and stuff that still affects me to this day. For example, I grew up being a not very beloved child with a very complicated and traumatic past. Again, it's details I don't feel comfortable enough talking about just yet. Maybe sometime in the future though. And some of it has really molded who I've become today, and a lot of it's not in a negative way, but in some ways has become too positive that it's become a negative. Some people that know me well will know that I am a person who loves to be around and take care of those that I really care about, often to my own detriment, because I just never want anyone to go through the stuff I've gone through. It didn't help either that even as a child and even as a preteen, I used to get bullied a lot. I was never really a popular kid. I'd get picked on for one thing or another. I would always get picked on up until pretty much my high school years, which thank goodness. Overall, I was always seen in a very funny way, in the sense of I always got the weird looks for one reason or another, even if I never really did anything to ever get those kinds of things. It is not to say that I was completely an outcast. Like, people will come along the way in my life. Some would still stick around to this day, and some would become people that really negatively affected my life in some way. But the latter really didn't happen too much up until my high school years. And even before then, all the trauma I had gone through, plus having some of the people that I trusted back then and that I was friends with back then would end up showing their true colors in some form or fashion, it had already put high school me in a very bad start. At some point around my preteen to very early teenage years, I was diagnosed with depression, and then I kept encountering more and more people that just never truly had my best interest at heart. But thankfully along the way, I met more and more people that definitely did have my best interest. So I wasn't completely alone, but you could tell how going through a lot of the other stuff could definitely make someone just feel like utter garbage. And so throughout my teenage years, and even heading into my adulthood, the craziness of life really affected me so badly that at some points I had definitely contemplated, disappearing from existence. Let's just say that. Doing the big old magical poof where it's like, now you see me, now you don't, for the rest of eternity. You get what I'm trying to say. All that would end up getting me to what has been basically the past year of just chaos. As if I haven't already gone through enough in my life, I've had to deal with some people that again were unfortunately those that became friends but not with the best of intentions, except some of these people were very special and not in a good way. When I was younger, I just cared a lot more about having friends and not being alone and having people that I thought would, support me. It led me to a group of people that along the way I ended up getting a little bit close to. The thing with them was that I truly didn't open my eyes to it until I finally had said something about it. That group only really used me as a token of sorts in a couple different ways. They saw me more as just that funny little token YouTuber friend who they thought they could do the whole dance monkey dance type of thing, and that would be an easy pathway of getting some kind of popularity, even though I've never grown to be popular. I mean, as of the making of this video, I'm still at 500 fucking subs. Sorry, somewhere between 550 and 560 subs. I lost count somewhere because I haven't checked on it in a while. But they still thought maybe they stuck around by me. They'll eventually be popular themselves if I were to somehow become popular. Maybe it's a good thing I've still stayed as a small YouTuber. They also saw me as a token friend in another kind of way. And unfortunately, it's a little bit darker than that. They had also seen me as the token Hispanic friend. And yes, for those that don't know, I am indeed Hispanic. And they kind of use that to get away with a lot of bigoted and racist things. But because they had me, they could use me as the excuse and get away with saying things. It got to a point though where it wasn't even just things that would be kind of targeted towards my skin color and my race, but also a lot of other races. And overall, I slowly opened my eyes along the way to learn that they're a very bigoted group, which funny enough would all end up getting exposed thanks to a YouTube video that's out there in the world from a YouTuber that I watch, where one of the members was exposed basically throwing out certain no words that you definitely should not be saying. One of the members decided to throw out slurs. They threw out plenty of slurs. And I tried to help be the bigger person for them and kind of softly call that action out, but thing with bigoted people is that they don't like being held accountable for their actions. And now it's because of that they, to this day, still decide to keep me living rent-free in their heads and now take every single opportunity to constantly harass me and try to make my life some sort of hell, which has all been helped by someone else in my life that I used to call a close friend. But again, just like them, they didn't have the best interest for me and really only had me as their so-called friend just because they needed that one person that they could constantly crap on so they could feel superior. Once I finally decided to stand on my own 2 feet, that's when that person decided to show their true colors as well. Not that I didn't already see that before. It's just that I was finally able to come to my senses and be like, why am I allowing myself to be disrespected? And with that, and also a thing several months later where they believed some person's lie that I was talking all this ish about them, which they never bothered to check or anything. They just believed it just because, they always hated me anyways and could not stand the thought of someone they called inferior saying anything bad about them when they are so much better in every way imaginable. They also joined the group of people that allow me to keep living rent-free in their head, and with that it causes them to constantly try to make my life a living hell. Except everyone knows how terrible of a person they are at this point now. There's more I would get into details about, but again, not something I feel comfy enough with yet. But again, someday I will. It's caused me to be more and more self-doubting and paranoid. Plus the current state of the world, mostly done because of politics. Can't wait for the people that are gonna get spooked or angry at me for mentioning the word politics, which, by the way, if you're one of those types of people, let me just tell you right now, politics affects everyone. Get over yourself. Politics affects everyone. And if you don't believe that, then maybe you're just a little too privileged. And you definitely should check yourself. It's caused me to have some of the worst mental health spells that I've had since I don't even remember. And that has all caused me to be less and less around in terms of the internet, whether that's on my Instagram, any of my Instagrams, whether that's been on YouTube or on TikTok. It's also kind of been because I just don't like to share as much as I used to. Also, a little bit of it is because as I've grown older, I've realized that sharing every single little thing that happens in your life isn't exactly the best thing to do. So just whenever I felt like sharing something, I would. But for the most part, I was less motivated, and overall, I was just way too tired of life in general. Me telling you all of this, though, has had a purpose. Because I know some people probably have a lot going on in their lives. Some people might see this and maybe they'll feel like they're not completely alone after all. And that's kind of the point. I'm using my experience, and especially the stuff that's happened to me within the past year or two, that has made me become less and less active as time has gone on, to tell you that despite everything that has happened in my life, there are all these moments that made it very easy for me to contemplate why I'm still around and how easy it would be to just not contribute to life anymore. As close as life has been to beating me, I have still not allowed it to win. Part of it's due to the people that have stayed around my life, that have been genuine towards me and have actually been around to help me throughout everything. And plenty of it has been because I was able to eventually get a grasp of myself for a moment and tell myself I shouldn't let all these circumstances win over me. I have been knocked down so many times, metaphorically and literally speaking. But every single time I did, whether it's because I had a moment where I believed in myself or because I was just very stubborn, I picked myself back up, I dusted myself off, and I kept going. As tough as it might have seemed for me, I still kept going. And that's what I want to tell people with everything that I mentioned. You see me here when life has thrown a lot of things at me, but I've still stayed around. And now here I am telling you all this. Because for those that might encounter this and are going through a lot themselves, if you're one of those, if you haven't had anyone tell you this, let me tell you this now. Don't let whatever's putting you down in life keep you down forever. And don't let it win. No matter how many times you have to do it, pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, keep going. Just keep going. Doesn't matter what direction, just keep going. Because it may not be in that moment. It may not be in that next minute or hour or day or even month or maybe even the year. But you'll eventually find the thing that gives you a motivation and a destination. No matter how many times the clutches of life and the people that have entered my whole world that in reality did not care about me kept me down, I still managed a way to get back up. And you should too. Take it from me, there were several times that I thought I wouldn't make it past a certain year. Guess what? I'm still here, and that should tell you something. You'll never be fully alone in this fight. Make sure that the claws of life don't keep you down. Make sure that malicious people don't keep you down. Make sure that the current climate of events and politics stuff doesn't keep you down. And also, don't let any of those things make you lose yourself along the way. Because as tempting as that has been many times, thankfully, I have not allowed any of it to ever make me lose myself. If anything, it has allowed me to make sure that I could care for people so that they don't go through that exact same thing. All this in life has allowed me to not lose myself anyway. It has allowed me to stay humbled, stay kind, stay caring, and it has also allowed me to keep being a person that doesn't try to judge anyone because of how they live. Unless that person tries to impede anyone from living the way they want to live, which no one ever should. I hope me saying all this will allow someone to feel something in terms of maybe hope, maybe relatability, something good. I hope that's what anyone that sees this video gets from this. And hopefully me telling you about what's been going on with me within the past year has been able to explain my increasingly bigger absence within all my social platforms. And now with me telling you all this and being in this journey of being better in the sense of mental health, it will allow me to be more and more involved again, and I can start putting out content. And trust me, I have a big back burner of content, a lot of very cool content that I have been waiting for the longest time to finally share. Plenty of it is Fortnite related, plenty of it is even repo related. Because boy, there is some funny moments that I wish I could have been showing you guys on repo. And then I got other things coming along the pipeline that I plan to do, whether that's in other future videos or who knows, maybe even live streams. Whether that's on Twitch or maybe even on TikTok. We'll see. But yeah, that's all for me. Just make sure to take care of yourself really well, that you'll never be alone. And again, whatever happens, don't lose yourself along the way. And hopefully I was able to help someone. But yeah, that's enough yapping for me. I finally get to tell you I am back. Truly this time. While I won't be able to just immediately just churn out content piece after content piece, I will slowly get back to that point. Now that I'm done with this video, I'm going to start editing content now. And hopefully by the time you see this video, I'll have something nearly done. So yeah, see you in the next video. See ya.